Taking it forward, finding your knowings. You can download the worksheets at www.owlseek.ca and get started on your own transformation today. Or you can grab your own journal and find a cozy place and make yourself a little nest and answer each question thoughtfully. The path forward only requires one thing from you, a choice. You choose a new way, you choose to listen differently, you choose to see life in a new perspective. Fear and force, the cage. Number 1, in my life, I'm stuck on ... Number 2, in my mind, I find myself spinning on ... Number 3, I contribute to my spin cycle by ... 4, I keep dark patterns, habits, and/or behaviors alive by ... 5, my cage is ... 6, my fears are ... 7, things I'm trying to force and control are ... 8, something preventing me from moving forward on my goal is ... 9, words that I use to keep me stuck, stagnant, or spinning are ... 10, a nature metaphor for what I feel like my cage or hell on earth would be ... Ego and pride, the mask. Number 1, I describe my ego as ... Number 2, to me, pride is ... 3, a mask I wear and hide behind is ... 4, my feathers are ruffled when ... 5, a logical thought that keeps me in my rut and in a spin cycle is ... 6, actions I take that go against how I truly want to feel are ... 7, in my life, I'm inauthentic with ... 8, things I do to appease others that feel inauthentic to me are ... 9, words that keep me stuck in pride, wearing a mask and feeling inauthentic are ... 10, a nature metaphor that keeps me stuck in righteous and pride is ... Courage and surrender, the shift. Number 1, beliefs that keep me stuck are ... 2, beliefs of mine that came from other people, parents, grandparents, culture, religion, are ... 3, I want the courage to do, feel, and say ... 4, the one thing I know I need to push through is ... 5, things in my life, people, places, things, and ideas that need to go are ... 6, if I don't let these things go, then the impact will be ... 7, things that I want to let into my life, people, places, things, ideas, are ... 8, if I don't let these things into my life, the impact will be ... 9, words that help me feel courageous and hopeful are ... 10, a nature metaphor that gives me the courage to see another perspective is ... Knowings. I know, I intuit from my heart. 1, intuition to me is ... 2, the source of wisdom that comes to me is called ... 3, the nest I go to can be described as ... 4, my core values are ... 5, the activities, people closest to my core values are ... 6, my work management values are ... 7, it's important to separate my core values and work values because ... 8, I wish I was doing more of ... 9, words that describe how I feel when I'm intuitive and in the nest are ... 10, a nature metaphor for where you feel you are right now in the nest would be ... Forgiveness and surrender, let go. 1, forgiveness is ... 2, surrender is to ... 3, co-creation, 2 things coming together are me and ... 4. Letting go is something I do often by ... 5. Thoughts or things I know I need to surrender, let go of are ... 6. Calming my central nervous system is done by 3 deep breaths and ... 7. The seats of the board of directors of my life are named legal, financial, relationship, career, spiritual, physical health, mental health, etc. ... 8. Words that describe the feelings of forgiveness, letting go, and surrender are ... 9. A nature metaphor for forgiveness and surrender would be ... 10. For me, feeling brilliance in co-creating feels like ... Grace and transformation feel different. 1. Grace is ... 2. Transformation can be described as ... 3. Being in a state of allowing feels like ... 4. The main difference of a life led with grace over a life led with ego is ... 5. I invite more grace into my life with the practice of ... 6. I want grace to be extended to others by prayers, thoughts, actions ... 7. I need to show more grace towards myself for ... 8. I'm willing to do more, to receive more ... 9. Words that describe grace and transformation are ... 10. A nature metaphor for transformation and change would be ... Love and illumination. Lead from inner brilliance and power. 1. Love is ... 2. To be illuminated from within feels like ... 3. The source of the illumination comes from ... 4. Leading from an inner illuminated place would feel like ... 5. Things I want to learn from love are ... 6. A higher perspective in love means that ... 7. I want more ... from love. 8. Self-love means that ... 9. Words that describe love to me are ... 10. A nature metaphor to describe love and how it feels would be ... Appendix. When my friend died in my arms, the next step was arranging his funeral, something I've never done. I compiled this story with only his stories, my recordings, and some friends' testimonies. My hope is it reaches someone in his family. I saved some of his things to share his roots in Eastern Canada when the day comes. I miss you, my friend. Chuck's Eulogy, 2015. I'm Jill Drader, and I'm a friend of Chuck's. 9 years ago, I moved back to Calgary from South Korea, where I went to teach English following university. I taught in Seoul and Busan. After a couple of years away and finding recovery rooms on my journey, my first meeting back in Calgary was Knox Nooner and Chuck was chairing. We connected over Korea and Busan, a port where I stood and learned of Korean War history, a port where he arrived at from Japan when he exited the boat as a night fighter and soldier in 1950. We stood in the same place, only 50 years apart. In the last 5 years, I helped Chuck with various medical issues. I drove and accompanied him to appointments and specialists. 5 years ago, I agreed to be his next of kin. When in the hospital, asked him who his emergency contact would be, and he said he had no one. He then turned to me and said, "Could it be you, kid?" I agreed, since I knew we intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. For the last 7 years, Chuck's called me every day, sometimes up to 3 times a day, to check in, see how I am, and connect. We would talk of the day, the weather, spirits, Jesus, Sylvia Brown, psychics, prayer, stew recipes, my children and my work, past lives, and the Holy Spirit. He told me, "I'm psychic and so are you. That's why we're friends," and I believe this to be true. We would drive around Calgary to the neighborhoods he couldn't bike to anymore and talk about memories he had. We went to Banff, a place he hadn't seen. We took my boys to the zoo and parks, and he was deeply concerned about their rambunctious nature. He was an intelligent man who did his learning through books. He used to tell the doctors at the hospital, "My life experiences are like my vocabulary, limited." This limited vocabulary led to some tough conversations when his diagnosis left him asking me what words cancer, chemotherapy, lymphoma, palliative, and hospice meant. I found immense strength from those in this room today who helped with these tough talks. 6 months ago, I noticed Chuck was changing, his stature, his color, and his drive. He talked of more pain in his stomach. He was a proud man of his fierce independence, having lived alone in an apartment at 8th and 8th for 23 years, and assured me he was seeing a chiropractor who helped him through. Little did we know this was when B-cell lymphoma was entering his body and when he took his last breath. On July 3rd, it had been days since I heard from him. Intuitively, I knew something was wrong. I called for a police check, and they found him curled up in bed in acute pain. The police called me to come take him to the ER immediately. We will suddenly realize God is doing for us, but we could not do it for ourselves. Chuck and the doctors said he would have died in that bed had I not called on him. He thanked me every day for being able to keep him alive a little longer. He had a strong willingness to progress, one like no other I've seen. Before we got to the Rocky General Hospital ER on July 3rd, Chuck told me he had a dream. A team came and said, "You're wanted in heaven. There's a woman who looked like me who took him to the hospital and he never got out. And there was a hospital in the picture, a bright light. It was in the blue and white clouds." That's exactly what happened. Chuck had unwavering faith that we were connected by a power greater than ourselves. We went from Rocky View to Tom Baker to Care West Fanning Rehab for mobility issues, to Peter Lougheed for respiratory issues, to the Sarcee Hospice for his final resting place here. Before we left for the hospice, he told a couple guys who came to visit him, "This is where I will go to die." And that he did, less than 2 hours after arriving. He was unconscious when we arrived at the hospice, except for 2 times he woke up. Once he asked me to change the dim lamp to the bright pot light. It seemed odd. Then he asked me to turn him towards the light. With the help of 2 nurses, we did, and with that, he was gone again. He went towards the light. Over the years, I felt an immense presence of his late mother Alice around me, in a way only the magic and mystery and the presence of the Holy Spirit can explain. Alice passed away 6 months after Chuck was born from complications from childbirth. I felt her come to me and say, "Bring my baby home." I took that calling with great honor, and today I lay to rest your baby, Alice. Thank you for guiding me here. We are here today because we know Chuck. My story is not special about my connection with him. Rather, all ours connected and collaborated are. You know Chuck. You know he biked all year round, swam every morning in the apartment building pool, attended daily reflections at 9:30 a.m., had coffee somewhere and lunch at home, went to Knox for noon, biked and jogged near the river before he started making dinner at 4:30 p.m. He stayed in most evenings, lifting weights and listening to CBC Talk Radio, as he had no TV after the bunny ears to hijack cable went out of style. He was usually in bed around 8:30 p.m. In July, he took his 33 years in the hospital with flowers from the Daily and Knox groups and a cake I brought to share with the nurses and doctors. They came in to congratulate him and talk to him about his experience, because his experience could benefit the medical team and the patients they treat. I'm confident that at some point in their careers, they'll share the story of a strong-willed man they met battling a mysterious disease and had a strong mind until the end. When Trina, Todd, and I cleaned out his apartment while he was in the hospital, he asked to hold on to only a few sweaters, his radio, and alarm clocks with red lights. A simple man. We found his quirky collections, pens from any location where they were given away, books and books and books, and more than 100 pairs of shoelaces stashed around the place and repurposed for hanging and tying things together. And when we didn't know what we were going to do with all his stuff, 2 new Canadians appeared in front of us and told us they would help others in their community with it. Chuck likely referred to you with a nickname. I've heard Mazda for Magda, Irish or French depending on where you're from. The woodsman, the lawyer, the hot dog guy, the out-of-town oil guy, the pilot, the football player's wife, and kiddo for any woman not younger than him. You may have wrapped gifts with him for Christmas parties or shared coffee with him at the Sunday morning Ramada meeting. He always had time for a chat. In fact, he valued the time immensely. If you were hurting, he likely told you to focus on step 3, 7, or 11 prayers, or he recited a quote or words of encouragement. He did have a warm soul. He was kind, he cared, he thought about you when you weren't around, and he wondered if those were hurting were going to be okay. He loved coffee and servers in restaurants along 8th Avenue, where he lived, and they would respect that he just wanted to sit in their establishments for a warm cup and somehow understood he didn't understand tipping. That being said, he did try to make sure he had something for the 7th tradition, either from his own wallet or someone else's. The 5 lessons I'll take away from my friendship with Chuck are: number 1, wool sweaters are the best. Number 2, pray. Number 3, speak simply and bold. Number 4, stay active. Number 5, read recovery literature and attend meetings regularly. 5 years ago, I asked Chuck to tell me the story of his early life. I recorded it and transcribed it and didn't pull it out until a few weeks ago. I somehow knew we would need this on a day like today. Todd Deere, a dear friend of Chuck's, will say a few words and tell the story of Chuck as he told it to me. Chuck, thank you for letting me tell your story and asking me to walk by your side during these last 9 years, especially the last 6 months. Thank you to the members of the community of this room who are connected now because of your spirit. And thank you for the reminders in your last week alive to splurge is not a sign of progress and to live and let live. Thank you for ingraining details of this simple recovery program on my mind so I can carry the message through my days. Chuck, you're wanted in heaven. I will miss you immensely and love you so deeply. And I will see you on the other side.